Good. Collaboration, communication, and innovation. Those are the three key words that are going to be the make or break of your business in the future. If we manage those three things, and we'll be able to sustain your growth, and we'll be able to leverage a competitive advantage moving on forward. We are Brick Squad Consulting, and we are here to solve those problems for you today. My name is Olivier Brassard, and I'm here with my colleague Matteo Denol and Jay Sedwani. And we really want to make sure that today, all the problems that you've raised and all the problems that you've mentioned to us will be solved and fixed. So let's first start with a current analysis of what's going on into your business. Right now we know that you have important partnership, one of them being Microsoft. You've been successful at implementing solutions with them, and it's been a big thing for your company. It's been a competitive advantage. It's been something great. But we also noticed that there's a big trend in the market where big players are starting to get into the industry. Such companies as Google or even Microsoft are kind of taking over the industry, and you need to remain competitive. You need to remain innovative. Now let's look at your people. Your people are experienced and they have a lot of expertise. You have developers in-house, and you also have system experts, system administrators. Everybody's doing their job correctly, but there's a lot of miscommunication as to the different methodology used. Your people from the development side use an agile method when deploying software, while the other ones are using more of a waterfall approach, which creates kind of a problem in terms of deadlines and meeting expected goals and project management. So, moreover, you're an award-winning company. You've been successful, as we mentioned. There's no problem regarding that in terms of the delivery of your system, the delivery of the actual software that and the actual cloud services that you're providing your customers with. The problem that we've noticed, the most important one, really has to do with the different methodologies and the incongruence that is happening between those developers and those system administrators. So let's take a step back and analyze the mandate that we have planned for you today. So we want to improve ShareWeb's project management process all in all, while continuing to add value to your clients by offering a differentiated and unique service. Now, there is three main challenges that we've identified. First of them being the methodology conflict, as I mentioned earlier. This is probably the biggest thing, and this is probably the most urgent thing that we need to solve in terms of project management. This is slowing down all of your project that are in the pipeline, because there's a lot of miscommunication and there's a lack of collaboration between the developers and the actual system administrator. So we want to make sure that this is fixed as we move on forward. Now you have a lot of project management expertise, but you've mentioned to us as well that you wanted to create something new and add to your services. So that's something we're going to try to do as well moving on forward. And we want to make sure to address this competitive pressure, this growing market, and these big competitors that are although you were there first, now those big competitors that have probably a lot more money, they're bigger companies, but you'll still be able to sustain your growth, and you'll still be able to compete against those giants because you were there first. So let's look at the first challenge, which is the methodology conflict. As we mentioned, there's a lack of communication between developer and system administrator. Moving on forward, we need a structure to enforce deadlines and tasks. We need something that is going to highlight the project timeline, and that's going to put everyone on the same page as to what is due and when it is due. So we need to integrate both methodologies together. The system administrator can keep doing their waterfall approach, while the developers can keep doing their agile approach, but we need to make sure that there is a communication and that they're both respecting their specific deadlines and personal deadlines to make sure that they will successfully deliver the projects without extra time or extra cost. So once again, we need a system, or we need something that's going to allow for better communication and better collaboration. Now, when we look at the project management expertise, you have a few projects in the pipeline, you have a few things going on, but there's no prior experience with project management software or project management systems. So, although you have knowledgeable developers, so what we want to do is develop those skills needed for project management and develop this type of expertise in project management. we want to make sure that you become expert at project management, because that's going to help your bottom line company, but that's also something that you can use on the market and offer as a service. So what we've identified here is a big opportunity for your company in the field of project management. Sorry. So we really want to highlight this fact that there is an opportunity for you to grasp. There is something for you to go and get. Now, lastly, when we look at the competitive pressure, what does that mean? That means that you have to act fast. You've been successful in the past because you were the first ones to offer cloud services. You were the first ones to offer a space for data for either companies or individuals to host their website, to host their programs, to host their CRMs. So we want to make sure that as you will deploy this project management solution, that you'll be the first one on the market. There's not a lot of companies doing so right now. There's not a lot of companies being expert at project management. So we want to make sure that you get there and you go first. This is where innovation comes into play. You need to be innovative. You need to create something that is going to be good for your business, solving your internal problems, but also good for other businesses, and that you can sell out after, or that you can license to other companies or other individuals. So I'm now going to let the floor to Matteo, who's going to go over our recommendation for you today.
Thank you, Olivier. Now that we have a clear idea of the different key issues, what we recommend here is that ShareWeb implements a project management office and software at the same time, and make sure that developing this expertise, you're going to be able to export this service to more clients in the future. So we're going to have a look at the timeline. So in the short term, so the 1 to 3 months, we're going to prepare. So we're going to do a change management. We're going to prepare the people to be using the PMO, so the project management office, along with the software that will be able to give some vision and some highlights on what people need to do. But I'm going to go further on that. On the medium term, we want to do execution. We're going to do the beta and the testing of the PMS that we're going to do before. In short term, we're going to train the people, and we're going to make sure that we have a good maintenance and backup. And in the long term, so 6 to 12 months, we're going to focus on innovation. So what we mentioned before, collaboration, communication, innovation is going to be on the long term. So how to export the expertise that you have developed in the short and medium term, and how to make it a product that you can sell it to clients in the future. So moving to the short term, what we're going to do is first we're going to get the upper management on board. So we're going to make sure that the upper management is validating this idea of implementing a PMO and PMS. When we have this, we're going to communicate with the HR department. So select the change leaders. These change leaders are going to be the people that are going to influence the rest of the employees to move where the PMO and the PMS. So that's why we really want to select them carefully in collaboration with the HR department. Then we're going to launch surveys to better understand the needs. So that's very important because we know already a bit what's the problems here, what are the key issues that Olivier mentioned before, but it's very important that the employee themselves mention to us what are the problems so they can really understand the need for the PMO and the PMS. So that's what we're going to be doing in short term. And then we're going to be launching an internal marketing campaign. So that's going to make the employee make sure that they're going to be excited about the new project. So we're going to schedule a general meeting. We're going to have everyone in the same room and announce what are the projects for the future of the company. So we're going to have different mics in the room so that people can express their concern directly to the upper management, and we can develop an interaction between the employees and the management board. So we're going to give them really like the visibility for developers and clearly define the roles for the system administrators, because now the administrators are the people that have a lot of tasks to do. That's not very well defined, as you mentioned. So that's why we really want to make sure that in the marketing campaign we explain the benefits of setting a PMO and a PMS. That's really going to be benefit for the developers and the system administrators. So now moving to the second part of the short term, we're going to develop the project management office. So what is the PMO? It's going to be a place in the company that's going to make sure that making the link between the operation and the projects, where there is a gap now, and it's going to be in charge of coordinating the both expert groups. So the system developers, the system administrators, sorry, and the developers. So making sure that the two groups communicate and better collaborate. So to do that, we're going to hire 5 project managers. They're going to be in charge of scheduling and planning. This task was, for now, reserved to the system administrators. So that's something that the administrators don't have to do anymore. It's gonna be easier. It's gonna be easier for them to plan the work and work on their own. So the PMO is really gonna centralize everything to make sure that the developers and the administrators are working on the same page. And we're gonna make sure that the attendance at developer meetings. So what we've seen is that there is everyday meeting with the developers because they're using an agile method, so there's a lot of things happening every day. So we're gonna make sure that the PMO are actually attending these developer meetings so they can really know what's going on and they can report after to the administrators themselves. So now we're gonna, on the same time, launch a PMS. So that's very important. The PMO is gonna be more for the collaboration, so making sure that the two groups work, and the PMS is going to be more to give visibility to the developers. So as you expressed before, the developers sometimes they don't know exactly how long it's going to take to buy servers, they don't know all this kind of data that the administrators know exactly. So we're going to set a software that really going to help both groups to better communicate. We're going to as well launch the Share Plan initiative. So the Share Plan is going to be a new project. It's going to be the innovation project that we mentioned before, meaning that the Share Plan is going to be really the PMS software that we're going to have to export on the long run. I'm going to go through that after. So we're going to assemble a team of developers and system administrators. They're going to be working on this project and make sure that we use the survey data as a foundation. Okay? We're going to develop a communication link, so making sure that the visibility is increased along with the security, making sure that this project is going to be as secure as possible. We're going to also have the PMO managers really work on this project. That's very important for us because that way we're going to make sure that the PMO office is really well used and really an efficient process. And the developers are going to have access to the production and infrastructure environments, and that was one of the concerns that you had before, is that the developer couldn't have a very good visibility on what are the administrators doing. So that's one of the things that's going to be answered. So now I'm going to let the floor to Jed, that's going to go through the medium term.
Okay, so now that we've gone through exactly what we're going to be deploying, a PMO and a PMS software and Office, we really want to make sure that we implement it correctly. So the first thing we will want to be doing is testing the bugs and issues early. We've noticed from past things and from what you've told us is that when you identify bugs late in the system or late in the implementation, it's a lot more costly and it wastes a lot of time. So we really want to make sure those bugs and issues are taken care of right from the beginning. So in order to do this, we're going to begin with internal testing. So this will be the testing done by the developers themselves. They'll find those quick little bugs that they can quickly change. And then next we'll move forward with user testing. So we'll actually allow a few users in the organization to test out the software and really see if there are any additional bugs or if there are any changes that they actually could implement. So furthermore onto that, we're going to be collecting feedback and making the necessary adjustments. So this is where we'll be taking more surveys and more feedbacks from our internal and external users and really make sure that we make all the adjustments before actually deploying the full-out software. So, and then lastly, as my colleague Matteo mentioned, we really want to make sure that the PMO and the PMS work together and collaborate, and that one solves the collaboration issue and the other one solves the communication issue, which will make your company more focused. The next step we want to focus on is training. So this is something that's going to be very big because we are introducing something new to the company. So we really want to make sure that all of the employees know exactly how to use the software, what the PMO office is, and why it's actually useful. So we're going to have HR set up multiple training sessions, and we'll be hiring 2 consultants to actually initiate the training and actually give all the information about why the PMO is actually of value. And we'll be using the train the trainer method. So in order to save some costs here, we'll have the 2 consultants actually train some people, and then we'll notice which people are picking up these ideas more quickly and have them actually train the other employees and have them act as a support guide once the consultants leave the firm. So the next thing we want to do is update the information technology infrastructure library. So this is the internal documentation of the company. We want to make sure that all the processes of the company, so the PMO processes and the PMS processes, are actually updated. That way it can be used as a reference if the employees actually do have any concerns after the departure of the consultants. Of course, we want to establish continuous support center. So this will be a 24-hour support center, which will allow the employees internally to actually have support for the PMS system if there are any issues, and we'll actually further move this support center out in the long term, which I'll elaborate on in a bit. And the last thing for this part is we want to re-emphasize the internal marketing campaign. So of course we don't want to just abandon the internal marketing campaign that we started in the short run. We really want to make sure that we keep pushing the fact that it's an important thing for the company and that it's going to move the company forward given the competitive nature of the industry. So the next thing we want to focus on is maintenance and backup. So this is something that's really important, something that's been handled by the system administrators currently, and we really want to make sure that we have scheduled maintenance. This is really going to reduce breakdowns and make sure that random breakdowns of systems don't cause further delays and further costs for the company. So scheduled maintenance. This backup and maintenance will be done off hours, so they'll be done probably on a nightly basis, something like that, which will allow the company to continue to do its work. And we're going to leverage the current infrastructure and expertise. So you are a cloud-based company, you know what you're doing in that space, so we really want to make sure that we can actually use our own services and offer cloud backups for our own internal processes and use our in-house hardware and in-house knowledge and expertise. So now that we've actually gone through the communication and the collaboration aspects that Olivier mentioned in the beginning, we want to really focus on innovation in the long term. We want to make sure that your company is able to grow. We want to make sure that your company is able to leverage itself against its competitors. So what we'll be doing is we'll be utilizing our expertise as a value-added service. So now that we've actually created this project management service for the internal use of the company to actually make your company more efficient and have it run more smoothly, we're actually going to consider selling this project management services and PMO expertise and add it to your portfolio. So you currently offer collaboration and hosting services. That's what you do very well, and we feel that this aligns very well with the core competency of your business, and it really differentiates you from your competitors and from those large companies that may enter the cloud space. And the last thing we want to do in the long term is really evaluate and adjust. So this is where we'll have post-launch surveys, really make sure your internal employees are actually benefiting from the project management office and the project management software. We'll use initial customer feedback and create an external marketing initiative. So we'll leverage the fact that you already have a strong existing customer base. We'll be able to create external marketing campaigns based on their feedback. And lastly, we're going to start promoting the expertise in project management, create an external marketing campaign, have that support center for your clients, that 24-hour support center, which in the current time, you're having people work after hours, so we'll have a 24-hour service center, and we're going to leverage the current market position and customer base that you already have, that strong customer base. So now Olivier is going to actually go through the financial implications of our plan.
All right, so what we budgeted here is that all we did was the expenses. We didn't even have an idea of the revenues of your company. We believe that you're a strong company financially and that you could afford this. So what we've budgeted here, as you can see quickly, is that the training costs are going to be around 200,000. Those are for the consultants. Those are the 2 consultants we're going to hire for 1 year, so 100,000 a year. Then we're going to have like 100,000 for seminars going on like on a yearly basis, so once a year or twice a year. And then as you can see moving down forward, your biggest expense will be to hire those 5 PMO managers. We budgeted 120,000 for those PMO managers. These could either be drawn from your internal business or be taken from somewhere else, either from externally. But obviously these people are going to be in charge of a lot of stuff. They're going to be the one overseeing and making the connection between your system administrator and your developers. So they need to be knowledgeable and kind of in the both field and make sure that they know everything about either agile or waterfall implementation in order to connect the two and close this gap and make sure that it's going to be leveraged in the future. So what we see is that, what does it mean in terms of benefits and revenues? We believe that it's going to increase your productivity and effectiveness by a lot. You're going to reduce bottlenecks. You're going to reduce those time losses that you have with your projects. You're wasting a lot of time right now with your project because of those miscommunication, because of this bad collaboration. So this is going to solve this. Then when we look at the increase in customer base and revenues, that's when you are actually going to start leveraging your innovation, and that's when you're going to start selling your product. And then we believe that you're going to be able to break even and have a positive ROI over the next 3 years. And On that note, we prepared a risk and mitigation. We can always come back to it in the question period. So what we really wanted to do is implement the project office software in order to address your communication and collaboration issues, and then leverage it in the future to sell it to future customers to differentiate yourself. We would like to thank you for your time, and we'll now open the floor to question. N'hésitez pas à poser vos questions en français.
So why do we need 5 PM? Why not 4 or 6?
Well, what we believe is that we had trouble identifying the size of your company. We believe that 5 people, if you put them on a weekly schedule, these people are going to be able to work in teams. Let's say you have 5 projects running, you can have 1 person per project. So this is why we chose the number 5. We found it was a kind of a good in-between. Obviously it could be added up, or it could be a bit less or a bit more, but we believe 5 is a good way to start this initiative.
I saw that you plan some development cost. Is the solution you're proposing an in-house built solution, or is it an off-the-shelf solution?
It is an in-house build solution,
Okay.
but that's why the cost was so low. We have estimated it at $250,000. That's why we've put it so low, especially for developing the PMO and the PMS, which is like 2 separate entities but working together. The software side of it, you already have the expertise, so it's going to be a very low cost for you. The $250,000 will be more for the PMO, actually getting the office space, making sure that like getting the hardware, getting everything that is needed to run the project system.
To follow up on David's question, if we were not to choose to develop the software on ourselves, which kind of features you think would be most important in a PMS tool?
Well, one thing that is very, very important is be able to put and calculate deadlines, making sure that our PMO or actually our PMS is able to keep track of every single project's deadline. Not only the final deadline, but all the milestones that are important for a company. All of those gates, as you call them internally, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be of great importance. Something that would be able to calculate productivity, the amount of input that you've put in versus the amount of output that the project is bringing in, stuff like that. And also on an individual basis, the satisfaction of all of your employees would be something to be measured.
And how will this help both group work together, since they're going to still have different methodologies? How will this help?
Yes, absolutely. So we understood that it's very important for each group to have their own methodology because they have different way of working. So we considered to change this methodology, but then we realized this was not possible. That's why we decided to really let them with the same, not moving the methodology, but just making sure that they communicate and collaborate better between the 2 groups. So that's why we decided to implement the PMO and the PMS, is really making sure that they are collaborating, meaning working really together and communicating, having visibility on the other's work, and making sure that everything runs smoothly in order to save on time, cost, and providing work of high quality work to your clients.
J'en ai peut-être une petite dernière. Par rapport à la mise en marché de nouvelles solutions, ce serait quoi votre stratégie d'attaque pour vendre la solution à nos clients actuels, de nouveaux clients, des PME, des grandes entreprises?
Okay, so we really wanted to leverage the current customer base that you have, because you do have a strong customer base, and as Olivier mentioned, you were the leaders in Microsoft Exchange Cloud Services, so you have a really strong customer base, and we want to use this customer base as a way of externally marketing yourselves, as showing that you have the expertise already, these customers already trust you, and when they start using your services, that will be a marketing campaign in itself to show that, you know what, you offer these services, but now you're an innovative company, you're a company that's moving forward and that's offering new services to your clients.
What do you think Microsoft's answer will be when we say that we develop the software on our own while they actually have one that is pretty good and pretty used across?
We've considered going with Microsoft as an off-the-shelf solution as well, like taking Microsoft software and adapting it to your own business. But we believe that's allowing them to get this competitive advantage. I don't believe that Microsoft would be annoyed that you developed it in-house, because for the simple reason that they're a big company, they have different targets, different markets different businesses to target. We believe that your company is more geared towards small to medium-sized businesses. So targeting all of this market, while Microsoft would be targeting more of the companies such as yours selling their software to intermediaries that would change the platform and adapt it. So that's why we believe they wouldn't really mind if you create your own to sell it to your own clients instead of taking theirs.
So just to be sure that I understood correctly, so we need to develop this PMS software.